Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel. And once again I'm here with Cyberpunk 2077. And today I came to share what I deem to be the ideal settings for the RTX 2070 for now. Remember, this video was recorded just one day after the game came out, so a patch might have fixed the performance and the game demands what it requires to run at 60 frames per second. But as of right now, that's what I deem to be the best ideal settings for a gameplay which usually sits above 60 FPS. So let's head over to the settings. We're playing 1080p of course. No VSync this time because we want to see how far we can go frame wise. While locking at 60, we wouldn't be able to see how far it can actually go. So presets, mainly ultra settings, as you can see. It's all maxed out with ray tracing disabled because it has a lot of issues performance wise. It's not worth using it so far. It still needs a lot of fixing. It can reach 60, but then the frames will like jump around at times to the point, mainly during combat, which is bad. Will drop below like 40, so that's not good. We're using the LSS this time around, so I realized that if you leave it on auto, sometimes it will understand that you don't need the super sampling, and then you'll have like 20 FPS, 40 FPS at random times, mainly when you actually need 60 FPS. In a sense, like during combat, like I mentioned before, because usually you're gonna use deep learning super sampling while using ray tracing to compensate for the performance loss so that you can even out. But it turns out that because of the game issues with performance, it turns out it's also pretty handy for non-RTX. Oh, let me silence my phone real quick before it becomes more of an annoyance. Sorry for that. Okay, it's silenced now. So yeah, so turns out if you leave the super sampling on auto, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna act up at times. It's gonna just forget it's on at all, like mainly during a cutscene or when you pause the game and then you come back and the performance all over the place. Like it was a locked 60, literally just drove around the city for like 20 minutes, all fine, all good, 60 FPS mainly locked, and then you just pause the game to get water or something, you came back and the frames were all over the place, and then you wonder what the hell is going on, and it's just the deep learning super sampling messing with you. So essentially DLSS on quality is gold. I'm gonna show you that right now. It seems, I mean, I've played with this setting for just over 5 hours, and it seems to be very, very stable. That's what I can say so far. So let's head back to the game. Let's check the map. I don't want to do anything story related because you guys don't want spoilers. I fully understand that. We're gonna try and avoid that as much as we possibly can. What? I have another apartment? What the hell? I didn't know about that. Well, anyway, let's just head over to the countryside, which I assume, yeah, it's about. Wait a second. Zoom out, zoom in. Yeah, I cannot go further than that. That's all we have. So let's head over to that point of the map. So we're gonna have the whole experience. What I mean by that, it's like we're gonna have both the city experience, like testing the frames in the city environment and also in a countryside environment without that many buildings and stuff. So we're gonna see how that compares. I assume I'm gonna be getting like over 100 frames a second after we're outside of the city limits, but that's what we're gonna see now. So as you can tell, we're getting 85 FPS right now. Graphics card's almost maxed out. We're looking at 95%, which is pretty good nonetheless. So 80 FPS, that's pretty good. Ultra settings, as you can see, the DLSS on quality doesn't really look bad. It doesn't look washed out. The colors are very, very, very bright. They jump, they sort of outstand, which is good, very, very, very nice. very convincing. It's almost as if it's not turned on. It's like you're actually just, you know, playing a native res, which we would be looking at like 50 FPS as you guys saw before, because we did the test with less than with DLSS off, and we saw 50 FPS average. And now recording, we're getting 80 FPS. Without recording, we would be looking at nearly 90 FPS, which is quite impressive, if I gotta say. I mean, considering that it's, you know, Cyberpunk, which is very hard to run, or so they say. I mean, you just gotta go easy on the settings. So let's take this bike and head to that part of the city, to the counter side, I mean. Let's see how the frames how will they actually you know, fare with the challenge. See if they're gonna actually cope well, or if we're gonna be looking at and broken mess of frames. So far we're still way above 60, as you can see, but then again I'm driving very slow, not really pushing too far. I can see the textures slightly washing out a little bit, which is expected, I assume. So let's take this right turn. Let's go. Oh, spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers. We don't want to look at spoilers right now. Ooh, quite. Okay, 79. So far, performance is very impressive, I gotta say. Wowzers. Not looking too bad. There's a little bit of pop in, but that could be because I'm running the game off a standard hard drive, not a solid state drive. So that could be the thing to blame, not actually the game itself. I mean, it's 2020. I should have you know, I should have an SSD, but I mean I have a small one just for the system. I know that's my fault, not game's fault. So pop-ins, not really a game issue per se, just the fact that I'm running off a standard hard drive. So there's that. So far so good. 70 frames, that's the worst drop so far. We're looking at, we got 68. That's the bare minimum. That's the worst of the worst so far. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. Cannot complain, honestly. Oh, look at that. We're back at 81, 79. Pretty good. And the usage is just about the same that we had without the DLSS. So essentially we're getting like 20 frames more, 20 to 25 more frames a second than we would without DLSS, and the visuals are just about the same, kind of. At times you can tell there's a little bit of blurriness and stuff, but look at that, 72, 70, still above 60, and of course we're recording, which puts extra strain in the machine. So 72, 77, look at that. The RAM usage is much lower, VRAM usage is lower as well, of course, when you use the deep learning super sampling. So I'm just gonna keep driving. I know it's that way, not this way, but I'm just gonna keep following a straight line. So the whole point is just to measure performance figures. So it doesn't matter where we go, as long as we could actually see the transition between city and countryside and compare frames. That's the whole point. And as you can tell, the frames are still basically the same, which kinda disappoints me a little bit. I was expecting like 20 FPS more outside of the city limits, but I mean, it's understandable. I do assume it's harder for the deep learning super sampling to actually learn, quote unquote, like this kind of desert stuff, you know. I mean, the patterns are very different. Buildings, you can just, you know, I mean, they do have different textures and stuff, but now they're just boxes, so I assume it's easier to like super sample a city better than this kind of environment with cactuses of different sizes and you know, all the grass and stuff, the bushes. So I do assume that does put an extra strain, and then the varying traffic. You see? I'm gonna keep driving. Oh shit! Okay, I assume that's as far as I can go. Which, oh, quite nice. It's a very seamless limit in a sense. You know, you can tell there's a drop of quality, of course, in the distance, but it looks very seamless. It's a very nice border. It kind of very, very, very nice. Very well thought off. Assume. Oh, hello. It's a lady like you doing in the middle of nowhere. Maybe I could help you out. Hello. Hello.
Hola.
Hola. She doesn't speak English. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll let you YouTube, but yeah, it's not time for Spanish right now. So let's just keep moving. Driving around. Look at that. Still sitting way above 60 FPS. Oh, nice place there. Can we see what do we have here? As you can see, like the trees and the cactuses, they look fantastic nonetheless. You can really tell that you're using super sampling. Quality super sampling is mega pog, I gotta say. Oh shooters, let's get out of here. I don't want trouble. I'm just passing by. Just a passerby, I'm a good boy. Don't mean no trouble. Just walking around. I mean, not walking around, just driving around, but you know. Just a passerby, I'm a good person. Good boy. Just a mere casual, just enjoying the environment. Driving around, testing frames. It's just a benchmark, that is what it is. There's a police car. Hello, cop. Mr. Cop. Police. Okay, let's just keep going. Look at that. Do you have a camp thing here? What the hell is that? Trailer park. Oh, hello. Oh, there's a bunch of enemies there. Not good. I better just drive away. I don't want any trouble. Oh no. Border patrol. Let's get off there. Sorry, sir. I'm just a passerby. I'm looking at very nice frames so far. I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, it's 1080p. Should be at least 90, 100. Should match up with other 2020 games in 1080p, but it's okay. I mean, honestly, 60 hertz is all you need, unless you have 144 hertz, of course, or 165, or 200 even, 240. But you know, I play at 60 hertz. I'm a pleb, so leave me be. So 60 hertz is all I need. So I'm very happy with the 75 to 80 frames I'm getting right now. Very, very happy. I'm a happy dancer. Oh boy, what the hell is that? Oh, shooters. Okay, don't mind me. I'm just gonna drive through carefully. Just take this out. Take this left turn here. Quite a shortcut. And then back to the city we go. Briefly, back to the city. Just oh my god. It's so much fun. Oh, what was that? Okay. You see there's a little bit of pop-in. That's something you noticed at times. Mainly at night, like you see traffic from afar, and as you get closer, it just vanishes. So I think they should fine-tune that. Make it like disappear from the screen range before I get closer. Know what I mean? Like just show the lights from afar when they are actually close to like disappearing off the screen rather than disappearing as you approach it. Like, just make it disappear naturally in the distance instead of just, you know, Like you see the bunch of cars up ahead. Once they get closer, they're just gonna vanish. See, they're vanishing one by one. Turns out there's no traffic. You look from far away, it seems as if there's a bunch of cars going on. I mean, that does work. The gimmick does work if you're like a cutscene in an apartment or something, then you see traffic in the distance. I mean, you're not getting anywhere close, you're stationary, like from a building or something, so you're not actually approaching the traffic. But when you're driving, that trick does not work. I mean, they should probably get rid of that when you're actually driving. Because if you're stationary, that's fine. I mean, you're not gonna be approaching the vehicles and stuff, so you're not gonna see them vanishing. But if you're in a car, in a moving vehicle, and then, you know, it's just weird. Just a little odd. Other than that, okay, so we're heading back into the city right now. Let's see how the frames cope. So far so good. We haven't been under 60 at all. Oh my god, what the hell is going on with that texture? Good morning, Night City.
Something strange is stewing in Pacifica. For several hours, connectivity in the district hit flat.
Okay, how do I turn the radio off? Okay, let's turn this off. Let's turn this off because no one wants spoilers, right? So let's turn this off. I'm really sorry, I forgot to turn the radio off. That's my bad. Either way, yeah, the textures are a little odd here, but the performance is fine. 70 FPS, it's the minimum so far. We're in the city right now, and so far, so good. Look at that. Yeah, boys, Cyberpunk above 60 FPS 1080p Ultra with deep learning super sampling, of course. But hey, look at that. More than 60 FPS. If that ain't a sweet spot, I don't know what is, boy. Look at that. I mean, the city just looks fantastic, I gotta say. Even with all the issues, like the traffic that suddenly vanishes from afar and stuff. And NPCs that also, oh my god, what was that? Oh yeah, I forgot, it's RGB. I mean, it's not RGB, it's just a panel. It has actual, like, it's insane. I mean, this is Cyberpunk, boy, look at that. We got RGB road bumps. Look at that, take notes. Take notes, big cities, take notes, New York. That's the big deal now. RGB speed bumps, that's what a city needs. Oh my god, okay. And here the frames is straight up died. We're finally looking at less than 60. The fun is finally over. Oh look, 60 FPS again. Okay, never mind. Seems like that part of the city needs work. Could it be the RGB? I don't know. Yes, it could be the RGB. Actually a panel shows like a video thing, speed bump. But yeah, we finally, oh my lord, look at that. This part of the city seems very demanding. I mean, there's a bunch of panels all over, as you can tell. So I do assume that puts an extra strain. A lot of strain, actually, because, you know, it's very colorful. There's a lot of animated panels. So I would say that's like the Times Square equivalent, in a sense. That's the rich part of the city where, you know, where the magic happens. Look at that. That's massive. See, there's a lot going on. We're still looking at nearly 70 though, which is pretty good. And then again, if you like walk instead of like driving a motorbike at high speed, you're not gonna be witnessing the drops that much. It's still gonna drop, but not by that much anymore. So yes, it's not, oh my god, what the hell. So it's not locked 60. No, it's not. Certainly not. But overall, it's very consistent. Like, it will drop eventually, but it's very rare. It's not something that's going to be happening all the time. At 98% of the time, you're going to be looking at 60 plus. And look at that. Wowzers. This city is just amazing. It's a shame that it can really do much in a sense. Like, as I mentioned before in my first video, where I benchmarked the game without deep learning super sampling. It's a shame that it can really do much of all of that. You don't really feel like you're part of it, but wow, the city is actually so impressive. And there's, just look at that. I mean, it puts so much work into it. Like, wow, it's amazing. Everything's just so big and well, like, imagined. I mean, it's convincing enough. I mean, it's almost as if you get teleported into that sort of dystopic universe, you know. It's convincing. It's very convincing. It's a shame your frames drop so much when you get into the wow part, you know, to the parts of the city that actually make your jaw just drop. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you can see the pop in every now and then, but well, as long as it doesn't come together with like 25 FPS is good enough. Look at that, we're just taking a stroll around the city. So far, so good. Just look at that. I've never been here before. Honestly, never been here on this part. Looks amazing. Wowzers, Night City. Oh my god. Ain't that quite a nice city? It's the place to be, isn't it? Kinda. I mean, we just saw, it seems like a terrorist attack, like a car just blew up. Not sure if that's a good welcome gift, but hey. I mean, it is the price you have to pay, right? Future comes at a price. Mainly if that's kind of future, you know. Dystopic-ish. Look at that. There's a little bit of glitching down there. Okay. Right. Let's head back into the frame killer part. Which seems to be that part of the city. Like the Times Square thing with all the RGB and the lights. There's a lot of light sources as well. Like, lots of puddles, so I do assume that tanks the frames. Oh look, 85, 83. It seems like DLSS randomly just kicked in. You see what I mean? With DLSS being slightly weird and inconsistent. Like, it does seem like sometimes doesn't really work. It's like, oh, you don't need deep learning super sampling. When you actually do need, and then when you don't need, it just kicks in. Like, look at that, 85, 87%. It's not fully using the card at all. So it's using the LSS without need. We're getting 70 frames using just 91%. And then when it's at 99, it's not kicking in. You see clearly, like, the graphics are looking way too good. It's not kicking in. It's not the deep learning. And then when it kicks in, it's when you actually don't really need it that much. Look at that. Okay, 96%. Now it's a situation where we do need DLSS, and it kicks in. Look at that, 84. Okay, and then suddenly it's gonna go back to 70. You're gonna watch this GPU usage drop, like 80-ish. It's a weird thing. It's all over the place. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. I'm still like trying to figure out what triggers it and what's the sweetest spot. But so far, from what I could see, from what I tested, it seems to be the most consistent options to leave it on quality. Because if you leave it on performance, you're gonna have, of course, above 60, way above 60, that is. But it's gonna look awful. It's gonna look so bad. Your eyes are just gonna bleed, and you're gonna give up. So quality is the way to go. You get the quality, you get the good performance-ish. Not all the time, but consistently enough. And then you're just gonna be, you know, it's just enough to be playable. to allow you to go through the story, play the game, and hopefully you replay it once they fix the performance. There's certainly a lot to be fixed here, but so far so good, considering, you know, it's just a day 1 patch, or day 0, whatever you call it. So it's still running without any fixes, and we're getting just above 60, which is okay. I mean, then again, 1080p, yeah, you know, slightly underwhelming for 2020, but hey, as long as you play the game, and the 1080p is good enough. Like, honestly though, like, that looks good. I mean, I'm not bullshitting at all. I like how it looks. It's not Red Dead Redemption, of course it's not, but it's like good enough. Like, just look at that. The city just, you know, it's, oh my god, that was a weird pop in. A car just showed up. It just showed up right in front of me. That's okay. Okay, I do think that's enough now. We've driven a lot. We've seen a lot of the city. I gotta go back to the story. Gotta play through because I want to finish the game today, hopefully. The main story, then I can make my first, my actual first look video, like talking about the story itself. My first playthrough review-ish of sorts, which is not gonna be a full review because I'm just gonna, you know, talk about what my opinions in the first playthrough, because I'm definitely gonna play more. I want to, you know, see everything it has to offer, all the, you know, all the classes and stuff, because I played as a nomad at first, so I want to see everything. But so far so good. I'm very impressed with the game, and that video will come soon. I might record new benchmarks like Quad HD, 4K maybe. I'm not sure yet, because, you know, even 1080p is a struggle, as you can see. It's not, I mean, it runs, it's smooth enough, but you can clearly tell sometimes it's still like all over the place. It's not highly consistent. It's not like 60 all the time. There are moments when it does drop, but then again, it's normal. It happens to every game. I mean, there are moments in Red Dead Redemption where my frames drop as well. Not massively like that, like 20 frames wise, but it still does, you know, drop eventually. There are situations where the frames tank, and that's normal. All games have like areas that tank the frames, and that's understandable. So yeah, with that, I do assume it's time to call it a day and say goodbye. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So that's Night City for you. That's the performance. We've been all over the city, and we've been to the countryside and back. We've seen a lot of what there's to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I surely did. And yeah, see you guys later. Bye bye. Of course. Bye bye.